This hill is brought to you by the School of Engineering at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, home of the Pioneers. I know I won't be the first to point this out, but there's no M in that entire sentence. Seems to me like they should engineer a big ol' P somewhere, but perhaps that's too gaudy. A 241-foot-high M is historic, but a P of the same size would be tasteless. Maybe M stands for mystery, as in, it's a mystery to me why it's still an M, decades after the mining school was closed. Alright, I'm done now. Got all my Platteville M jokes out of the way. U.S. Highway 151 gets progressively prettier as you head southwest out of Madison. Perhaps it's nature's way of compensating for the numbing drive through Iowa and beyond. While you've still got a little of Wisconsin left to enjoy, the hills undulate more and more with each passing mile. Today, this corner of Wisconsin is quiet. The entirety of Lafayette County is home to fewer people than some Madison suburbs. But for a short time, it was the political and economic center of Wisconsin. The first Capitol building at Belmont is still here, but it's a blink and you'll miss it kind of attraction. This whole area looks historic. I thought I was just driving past another farmhouse. One attraction you can't miss is the M at Platte Mound. These whitewashed rocks can be seen from miles around. The world's largest letter M is admittedly an impressive accomplishment, and engineering students in the Great Depression certainly could have found worse uses for their time. Also, the students set it on fire at least once a year, so that's pretty neat. Overall, it's a good symbol for one of the best engineering schools in the state. Well, at least from afar it is. In my short life, I have climbed steeper stairs, and I have climbed more flights in a row than this, but never before have I encountered stairs that seem so perfectly designed to exhaust the people who climb them. I can't quite pinpoint why this is. I only know I have never been more thankful for a halfway rest area with a seat. Seriously, I think they would have been better off foregoing this wooden monstrosity and just leaving it as a dirt path. The top of the hill, when you finally get there, has a nice enough view, and is equipped with a few picnic tables. It also is home to a cell tower. Those of you who haven't visited Platteville before won't appreciate this, but it's a big deal that they have LTE now. It was only a few years ago that their engineering camp was more of a cellular dead zone than Boy Scout camp in the North Woods. Welcome to the 21st century, pioneers. The trails here are alright, but there's not a whole lot to do. If you find yourself unsatisfied with a picnic here, maybe Belmont Mound, 5 minutes to the east, will have what you're looking for instead. Belmont Mound is Wisconsin's worst state park. No, I don't think so, obviously, but if you read too many online reviews, it's easy to get that impression. Let's take this one-star review, for instance. Howard Ogden says, "The 64-foot observation tower is closed. This fact is not shared with you until you climb the 400-foot hill. This time of the year, neither the snow nor foliage can hide the litter. It is a dump. This place does not live up to the standards set by the other state parks. Do yourself a favor and drive up the road to either Governor Dodge or Blue Mounds State Park." Mr. Ogden has some of the best 360-degree photos on all of Google Maps. His work has actually inspired a couple of these videos, but I think he takes the wrong perspective here. Sure, it would be disappointing to plan a special trip out to Belmont Mound State Park only to find its main attraction is closed. I want to emphasize this. Do not do that. This park does not have enough to merit a day trip of its own. Work it into a larger journey instead. In practice, Belmont Mound is more like a county park that happens to receive some state funding, so you'll have a much better experience if you treat it that way. In my experience, the park was actually quite well maintained, especially considering it's all done through volunteer work from the local Lions. But they mostly take care of the picnic and playground area up front. When you head uphill into the woods, it almost feels like entering an entirely different park. The trees conceal reminders of what once was. There are paths, but you might as well walk up the slowly degrading asphalt that curls up the hill. It's closed to cars anyway. When you reach the top, you're greeted by a forlorn watchtower. It stands alone, kept company only by the remains of a parking lot and a small pile of smashed electronics. A microwave oven, perhaps. Though the tower's planks have begun to grow soft and green, it still maintains a proud posture, upright in the face of eventual doom, like the figurehead on a ship run aground. That this tower would close was inevitable, even if it hadn't been the site for multiple recent suicide attempts. It would have been hard to justify the cost of repairs. In some instances, it's better to just let history fade into the distance. There are reminders all across the state that the golden age of parks might be behind us. Many scenic overlooks are now obscured by trees that were only saplings when their foundations were first laid. This tower will have the opposite fate, slowly crumbling until it's level with the moss and asphalt below. Perhaps Howard Ogden was right. Perhaps the top of Belmont Mound is destined to become little more than a dump, where the fallen logs from structures past mingle with people's unwanted small appliances. But I think of it a little differently. This is a warning. Buy your passes every year. Cherish our state parks, or more might end up like this one. As for my personal experience, I was impressed that the shelter had lights and electricity. Wished there were fewer people with guns walking around, but it was opening day. What are you gonna do? 4 out of 5 stars.